Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
On today's show, I'm going to admit that a lot of the control has been taken away from me because of that guy over there. That is Raymond Albert. He is a volunteer with us here at Shaw TV, and he is the one who puts together Go Island. He edits it 3 days a week. He's also a chef and studied professionally. We've seen his talents before on the show, and he's also a heavy metal rock star, and he's now telling us how to put the show together, so let's hang out and see what happens. On today's show, benefiting from Nanaimo's Child Development Center since she was a child, an extended big summer adventure, and Talk to Me Dan about back to school. That and more in the next 30 minutes. Today on Go Island, we are making crepes. We get to hang out here at our Shaw TV studios on Boban Drive in Nanaimo. Raymond says the first step, and a very important step when it comes to making crepes, is clarifying the butter. I don't really know what that means. It's something that he learned in school. Basically, you kind of reduce it, get rid of the crap, and then it doesn't burn. We're going to throw things over now to Annette Lucas. She is introducing us to a young woman at the Nanaimo Child Development Center who has been using and benefiting from the services there since she was 8 years old. The first ever Child Development Center telethon takes place at the Port Theatre on Sunday, September the 29th from noon until 8. It will be broadcast live on Shaw TV. It is a partnership with the CDC here in Nanaimo, Shaw TV Channel 4 in Nanaimo, as well as the Port Theatre, where it will be taking place live. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and we're getting quite a kick out of hanging out with Raymond Albert today. I'm used to seeing him in the edit bay, and he's used to me running around crazy going, yes, here's the voiceovers, here's the bridges, do you have everything you need? What we call right here, right now, is a bridge on Go Island, and Raymond has been putting them together for us on a volunteer basis for
about 3-4 months now.
3-4 months. And he's liking what he sees and wants to be a part of it. And he says, Kate, I want to make crepes on the show. I know how to cook crepes. And there's a lot to Raymond we're discovering. So we've got the butter clarified.
Yes, we got the butter clarified. And Kate, could you pass me the flour?
Flour, I can pass you the flour. So what we're doing right now is making the batter. And you learned in school that if you have to measure your ingredients, you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah, technically.
So how do you know how much to put in?
Well, see, I know that I'm going to have quite a few people that are going to enjoy this stuff.
So not only does Raymond volunteer his time with us, he also feeds us and teaches us how to cook. Okay, and he's telling us what cutaways to get as well.
So now, this is fairly simple. I'm figuring maybe I got about between 5 and 8 people.
Okay.
So I put about that much.
Okay, what do you need now?
Okay, and then after that, this is where the fun part is. You dig a hole in your flour. Okay. And the reason why you dig a hole is because you got to add your egg.
Why can't you just spread it around?
Yeah, whole.
There you go.
It's because you're containing it. When you're containing your egg, it works a little better compared to basically having some issues with it.
So that looks like roughly a couple cups of flour, 1 egg.
1 egg, a little bit of milk.
Little bit? I love it. That's how I cook.
Yeah, a little bit of milk.
Little bit of milk. Now, you went to school in Ontario. What did you take?
I took, when I first started, I took half a year of baking, and after that I went and I said to myself, oh, let's go for the full course. So I took the full course, which I really enjoyed. It made things a lot of fun.
And the full course, you mean French cuisine?
Yes.
Gourmet French cuisine, okay. So this is really basic. Now you know you need more milk. It looks a little dry.
Exactly.
Right.
So if it looks dry, you add more milk, and then we'll get that nice consistency. And then at some point, I will add the sugar. Okay. Because we are making more of a
dessert crepe.
A dessert crepe, yeah. Okay.
And then I guess you can customize. You know, if you want to cut back on your sugar, you don't really add that much. And
exactly. If you want to go healthy, you can put some sugar substitutes.
Okay. If that's healthy, that's debatable. Would you add like vanilla or anything?
Yeah.
Or some Grand Marnier or some Kahlua. I don't know why that's coming to my
No,
mind right now.
that's the nighttime dessert crepes.
Now, another thing about Raymond that we learn a little bit more as we interact with him more and more frequently is that he is a heavy metal rock star. There's a whole backstory to that. Lots of involvement in sort of the heavy metal culture here in BC and in Quebec and Ontario.
Actually, yes. Long story short, in '96, when everything started moving forward for me in the music business, I opened up for Nazareth.
Oh, these are cheap. You learned on the road as a musician that you can eat crepes more economically than fast food.
Oh, hell yeah.
All these ingredients, like $25, you said, right?
Oh, yeah. For $25, you can make this whole meal and feed yourselves for at least a good week.
Okay, so boys on a budget, and it's also a great way to impress the ladies without having to spend a fortune. We'll be back with more with Raymond and his crepes after a short break. Still to come today on Go Island, getting the crepes just right in the pan, the Railway Museum in Prince George, and DanCon on the streets of Victoria. That and more still to come today on Go. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4, and today we're hanging out in our studios in Nanaimo on Boban Drive with our awesome, volunteer. He puts together Go Island 3 days a week. He also is a heavy metal rock star and apparently quite an accomplished chef. He's showing us how to make crepes today. We've got the batter made, and how's it looking? You think it's going to work?
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to work. I just had some troubles with my whisk, but yeah. That's heavy metal.
Too heavy to stick into the handle.
So I was mentioning earlier, we're going to do our test. Now I got the batter. I got a nice ratio of sugar and batter. You got to have a taste of it.
How much sugar did you end up putting in here?
I kind of like it sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. It almost tastes like cake.
Yeah, I know. But we are making a dessert.
Okay, now we're eating raw eggs and flour and sugar and milk.
No,
okay.
but tasting. Eating it would be like if you took 3 spoonfuls, but we're not going to do that.
Okay, that's a good thing. Now, you've wiped off the butter, the excess butter that you clarified.
Yeah, because once you clarify, you'll notice that a lot of little... What is the difference is that if you take a look at the bottom of the butter,
Here's the butter
you'll
container.
notice it has little white stuff. It's like a little film of snow. I would call it.
And that's all like the crappy stuff at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you take that away, I had to wipe the excess off of this. Now I can actually...
You're going to pour on just the top?
Yeah, I'm just going to pour in just a little top. No, I need a spoon for that.
Okay, because you don't want to pour the
Yeah, I don't want to pour it.
stuff at the bottom into there. Okay.
And I don't really need that much.
How hot is the pan, and did you preheat it?
I preheated the pan and I put it on high because I'm one of those guys that okay, we're going to cook fast.
Can I move it around? But don't you want to cook fast when it comes to crepes?
You do.
Okay.
You do.
Now, what's the difference between a crepe and a pancake? Just thin?
Yeah,
That's it.
it's a pancake's pretty fluffy. It's got that fluff to it that everybody loves.
But
for
the batter's the
pancakes.
same. No?
Not really, not really. They have more different ingredients to make that fluff, while this is a very basic flour, sugar, 1 egg, milk, that's it.
Pancakes might have baking soda or baking powder or something
Yeah.
like that. Okay, so how much you putting in?
Well, for the tester, I just take this.
Okay, this is a test.
Do-do-do.
Do-do-do.
And when the tester is just this.
So if you're on the road, if you're a musician on the road, you want one of these little burner plates, easy to transport. You want a couple bowls that are easy to transport. You want a rock and roll heavy metal whisk to take with you. So you're not doing the full size.
No,
Oh,
no,
good
I'm
one.
taking a look at my ratio. I don't find it's liquidy enough. I need it more liquid because when I turn my pan, I want it to nice flow through it.
And you want to get it as thin as possible?
As thin as possible. Right now, that's why I do my tester. It's like, okay, my batter tastes yummy, but it ain't as liquidy as I was hoping for.
Okay.
So that's why his a little thick. It's it's like the pancake's cousin.
Cramp cake. I'm trying to come up with a word between crepe and pancake. Okay, so we're going to let you add a bit more milk, I assume, just to thin it up a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to throw things over to our Butis RV's Big Summer. We're taking a road trip to, I believe, a forestry museum in Prince George. We're making crepes today on the show. Raymond Albert is a volunteer, as I've mentioned only a few times already, and quite skilled at making crepes, it would appear. We have the right consistency. We've thinned it out a little bit with some more milk after a test showed us that it was a bit too thick. So we've got the consistency. Now what?
Now I take my ladle. You can fill it up like this, then you swish it around a bit to get more of a
accurate size,
an
portion.
accurate size and portions and stuff. If you put too much, your crepe's still going to be thick. The idea is you want a nice thin crepe.
The thinner the better?
Oh, the thinner the better.
Okay.
Okay, so now I feel like I got a good consistency. I put it in the center, the whole thing in the center.
Okay.
And then quickly,
And you
I
can only
pick
make
it up.
one at a time.
And see how it spreads?
Yeah.
That's because it's nice and thin. So I can.
And it's cooking as you're spreading it.
Yeah. And then I'll get my shape.
It's like watching clouds. What do I see in that shape?
Now, as you
Looks
can
like a
see
head.
that the outer is almost getting there.
Yeah.
And it's floppy and flippy and it's flipping.
So with
doing the
pancakes, you're
dance.
waiting for bubbles to appear and then you know it's time to flip. Is it the same thing with a
Kind
crepe?
of like. So you can see that where I'm getting holes, little bubbles, little holes.
Okay.
And then I like to break
So
it
it's
up.
just
and then,
a few seconds, really. Are you going to try the flip thing? Do you want to try it?
Sure.
Okay, maybe it might hit the floor. If not, we'll just go with it. We'll cook another one when we show you our next story. Whoa, very slick. Very, very slick. Okay, we're going to come back after a short break and talk about what we're putting inside these crepes. Keep in mind that they are dessert crepes, and we'll talk about what you can add if you prefer the savory kind. And before the show is over, of course, we'll be doing a little taste test. Wish you were here to join us in person. We'll be back with more after a short break. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're going to warn you right now, it is not a low-calorie show today. We are making crepes with our volunteer heavy metal rock star chef, Raymond Albert. And we're going with the sweet dessert crepes today. We've got cream cheese, sugar, lemon and lime in the perfect measurement that Raymond says you know when you've got enough and the balance is right when it sounds right.
Yeah,
And
when
I'm
you
not
squirt it
joking.
in.
When you squirt it in and it sounds right, then you know you're enough. Quite sweet, again, not low cal. And now what we have left to do is fill it. If you want to add some other alternatives, we've got jam. Would you just plain old jam inside the crepe and roll it up? Okay, so all different kinds of varieties of jam. And then what would you do with a heavy English cream?
Well, I would put a little bit
Like
of the
whip it
cream
up?
with the jam, yeah.
Oh, with the cream with the jam.
Or the
and
jam on
then-
top.
Okay. Now, I am honestly more of a savory person, and I know that you can have crepes as a main dish. And I'm actually thinking with this something maybe my kids would eat. But what kind of things could you add in simply and on a budget and make it more of a dinner than a dessert?
You can make some crepes and then make an omelet. And then in between the two, you can add a little bit of cheese and then roll that up. That's quite of a nice breakfast.
Okay, that's just in case you don't have enough calories in your day and want to add
Or you
some
just
more
want to
in there,
live the
right?
French way and have nice food. I find the French we love our taste buds. And we're more about, a lot of us are health conscious. I agree on that in today's day and age. But a lot of us have it's the taste. If it tastes that great, I don't care the calories.
And the taste was really subtle. We were tasting the filling here, and Raymond says, see, look, it's not sweet enough and it's a little bit too tart. And you were able to tell a little bit more lemon juice, lime juice, and the difference between lime and lemon, I don't even know if I'd be able to tell. And with one little taste, you were like, no, a little more of this, a little more of this, and then it comes out, and the difference is huge, but the adjustment was so small. And that's just an educated palate.
Yeah, the more you play around with it, the more you know the flavor that you're looking for.
Okay.
The more you're like, okay, well, I'm more of a bitter type of person. I like this, or I'm more of a sweet type of person. Cooking is about experimenting. Cooking is about having fun. Like, as you mentioned, for this crepe, these crepes already have
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna move this so
We're
I can
actually
put-
going to put some
I'm
of
gonna
this
put
stuff.
jam in instead of-
I'm being creative. I'm taking a little bit of jam. I'm going to put it in.
Okay. Do you want me to open the cream?
Sure. Open the
Okay.
cream.
Okay.
So I put a little bit of jam, and in the past I've made these. Once these were cold, I've made them with peanut butter and jam.
Oh, so how long could you keep these in the fridge, do you think?
About a couple of days.
And you wouldn't want to freeze them?
No. You don't want to freeze them.
Well, again, our 1 minute has turned into 3. It's time now to head down to the streets of Victoria. Talk to me, Dan, about back to school. and we've poured some English cream on top of the crepes here. Only thing left to do is take a bite. Cheers. How is it?
And that's the jam.
That's
But
the jam.
We still got to go with the cream, though.
Okay. Let's have a bite of that. I don't usually like eating on air, but why not, eh? Ooh.
Very good, huh?
Okay, well, we've got some we've got some eating to do. Hopefully we've inspired you, and from what you've seen and learned today, you could make your own crepes at home. They're not that difficult. Not that difficult. Thanks for watching this edition of Go Island. We'll see you next time. You're gonna have to go for a run after this.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.